Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom. Wait with me. And today I'm going to present you my new series called Mistakes Were Made, where I'm going to give newer players or less experienced players basic advice about fundamental concepts like tempo and value, for instance. And this episode is going to answer the question if you should fireball a 3/3 minion. Let's start. So of course, the answer, if you fireball a minion, is not always that easy to find. And it differs from situation and from board to board and from matchup to matchup. But now I'm going through different board states together with you to figure out which board state is pushing you in the direction that you should fireball a minion, and which board state, or remove the minion, and which board state is pushing you in the direction that you should not use the fireball to do that. So here's a very simple board state. Both players are at 4 mana. The health from both players is at 30, which is kind of important. And the opponent doesn't have any cards whatsoever, and we don't have any information about his deck whatsoever. He has a Chillwind Yeti on board, and we have a Bloodfin Raptor. I think most of the players that have played Hearthstone for a while would definitely take the Fireball here to remove the Chillwind Yeti. You're using a 4 mana card to remove another 4 mana card from the opponent. You're protecting your 3/2 on the board, and you're using your mana efficiently, right? Let's have a look at another board state. So now the opponent has a Worgen Greaser. That is a 6/3 minion, which is also a 4 mana card. So what could you do now? You could trade, obviously, with your 3/2 in the opponent's 6/3. That is great value, right? Your 2-drop trades up to his 4-drop. And you're gaining a lot of stats, right? Your minion has 5 stats and his minion has 9 stats. So you should do the trade, right? No, in my opinion, not. Because what is given that there is no information whatsoever? Of course, this is only in theory, right? In practice, this board state will most likely never happen. But I'm trying to explain you the fundamental basics so that you understand what it is all about. In theory, the fireball can never be your win condition right now, because fireball only deals 6 damage to the opponent, and the Bloodfin Raptor has the potential to deal 30 damage to the opponent, which is right now necessary because the opponent is at 30. So you really want to protect your Bloodfin Raptor here and destroy the Worgen Greaser with the fireball. If you're still not convinced, maybe rephrasing the card text of the fireball convinces you more. The fireball this turn says, destroy a minion, deal for 6, and deal 3 damage to the opponent with your Bloodfin Raptor, of course. But that one is already on board. You would not get the 3 damage to the opponent's face when you would trade, obviously, right? So that's enabled by the fireball. Let's have a look at another board state. We are now Rogue, and it's just a 3/3 on the board. Would you still fireball the 3/3 with your fireball that you somehow randomly got from somewhere? Yes, you would still do it, because minions are damage over time. Now, let's have a look at another board state, which is more tempo focused. So now the information is, the opponent has 4 cards in hand, and we have 3 cards in hand. Exactly Elise and Boulder Fist Ogre. So how did this influence our decision if we are fireballing the 3/3 or not? This is really pushing us, or incentivizing us, to use the fireball to kill the 3/3 here. Why? We have a 5-drop and a 6-drop already in hand. So we are currently on turn 4, and we really want to use the mana efficiently. So that means in the next 2 turns we won't have mana whatsoever for playing the fireball. Even if he plays a stronger minion, we are still very likely to just want to play our strongest minion and use it for value trading. So here you're very far pushed in the direction that you want to fireball this 3/3. Let's have a look at another board state. You're both at 10 mana. Your opponent has 4 cards in hand, 8 cards in the deck, and you just have 3 cards left in the deck. You know that one of your last cards is another fireball that somehow magically got into your rogue deck. But this is not about correct states, right? It's hypothetical work we are doing here. And your opponent is not at 30 health, but at 12. So now it becomes really, really tricky. There's some point, you can calculate it, when the Bloodfen Raptor damage is more value than a fireball. So the Bloodfen Raptor needs to attack 2 times to gain more damage than a fireball, right? And now you can ask yourself the question, is the Bloodfen Raptor going to be able to attack 2 times given this specific board state? What is going to happen is that the opponent is either going to play a taunt, a removal, or another minion and just trade the mind control tag into your Bloodfen Raptor. So the Bloodfen Raptor is never going to be able to deal more damage than a fireball to the face. And you know that you have another fireball in the deck. So what you should do here is, you should fireball maybe his face, depending on what other cards you have left in your deck. If they are very cheap in the mana cost, then it doesn't really matter if you fireball this turn or the next turn. That's not the point. But you should definitely attack face here with the Bloodfen Raptor, because your game plan is now you want to burn down the opponent as quickly as possible because he has all the value and you have all the tempo. So you have about 33% chance of winning the game in the next turn when you attack face here with the Bloodfen Raptor, but you're still not trading because of this given board state. And you're also not using the fireball to remove the opponent's 3/3, because you're losing effectively damage. If you're doing that, you're losing 3 damage. So now let's have a look at another board state where it's more about value. The opponent has 4 cards and you have some big late game drops, and somehow you know that one of the cards the opponent has is Primordial Drake, or let's say Consecration or Flame Strike, or some card that is going to kill your Bloodfen Raptor. Let's say the last turn the opponent played a Curator that's usually drawing a Drake, and you know the opponent's deck is running Primordial Drake. So now the situation completely changes. You're still both at 30 health, and you want to make use out of the Bloodfen Raptor. So the Bloodfen Raptor can now nicely be used straight into the mind control tag to actually do something, because the 3 damage to the face will most likely never matter here. You could also play Fireball and Boulder Fist Ogre, right? That looks like a nice combination because the 2 cards here now seem to fit nicely into the curve. But the problem is, then your opponent is going to play the Primordial Drake, and you have no way to kill the 4/8 taunt, right? And you lost your Bloodfen Raptor. It was basically just a Frostbolt into his face, more or less, right? So pretty useless. So that's why here, given all this value information you have, you're really forced or pushed into the direction that you want to trade off your Bloodfen Raptor into the opponent's 3/3 and not to use the Fireball as a removal. And obviously you want to play your strongest minion. Let's look at another situation. You have 8 cards, the opponent has 8 cards. You know that 2 of your 8 cards are the Lich King and the Sarah. So there is a very high chance that you're getting a really, really valuable card, a win condition, and that is going to win you the game, right? And you don't really know that much about your opponent, but he anyway also has only 1 card in hand, right? So here, you're again pushed into the value situation where you want to make value out of your 3/2 in terms of, okay, it looks like I'm winning the late game anyway, because I have these 2 big minions left in my deck that I'm definitely going to draw before this game ends. So this is why I want to trade my 3/2 and save the Fireball potentially for some really huge threat. Let's say the opponent now has, I don't know, Elira, right? Okay, let's summarize. Using Fireball as a removal is very, very complex. There are a lot of factors influencing this decision. Most of the time you want to use it as removal because minions are just stronger than spells. And I've shown you different board states, some regarding more to the value plan, some regarding to the tempo plan. And given these means, you can decide in your own game whether you want to use it as a removal or not. Please let me know in the comments where you used the Fireball as a removal in a situation which really surprised you. Thanks for watching, bye bye, see you in my next